Genesis chapter 41, out of the Passion Translation, from the pit to the palace, verse 1. After 2 full years, Pharaoh dreamed that he was standing by the Nile, and up from the river emerged 7 healthy fat cows, and they began grazing in the marshland. Then he saw 7 other cows come up out of the Nile right behind them. They were ugly and thin, and they stood beside the fat cows on the riverbank. The 7 ugly, thin cows ate up the 7 healthy fat cows. After Pharaoh's dream, he awoke and fell back to sleep. He dreamed a second time. In his dream, he saw 7 ears of grain, plump, ripe, and growing on a single stalk. Close behind them sprouted 7 ears of grain, thin and shriveled by east wind. And the 7 thin ears swallowed up the 7 plump and full ears. Then Pharaoh awoke from his vivid and disturbing dream. The next morning, his spirit was agitated, so he called for all the magicians and wise men in Egypt. Pharaoh recounted his dream to them, but no one could give him the interpretation. When the chief steward heard about the dreams, he remembered Joseph and said to Pharaoh, "Please, your dreams remind me today of my failures. Once, when Pharaoh was angry with the servants, he incarcerated me and put the chief baker in prison of Potiphar, the captain of the guard. We both had dreams on the same night, but with different meanings. There was a young Hebrew man imprisoned with us who had been the personal servant of the captain of the guard. And when we told him our dreams, he interpreted them and told each of us their meaning. And it happened just as he had said. Pharaoh restored me to my post, but he had the baker impaled." After hearing this, Pharaoh immediately sent for Joseph. They rushed him out of the dungeon to prepare him to meet with the king. When he had shaved and changed his clothes, he came and stood before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I have had 2 dreams that no one can explain. I have heard that you are able to interpret a dream the moment you hear it." "I cannot do it alone," Joseph replied, "but God will help me to give Pharaoh the proper interpretation for Pharaoh's welfare." Then Pharaoh told Joseph, "In my dream, I was standing on the bank of the Nile, and up from the river emerged 7 healthy fat cows, and they began to graze in the marshland. Right behind them followed 7 other scrawny and emaciated cows. Never have I seen such ugly cows in all the land of Egypt. The 7 ugly, scrawny cows ate up the fat, healthy cows. But after consuming them, no one could tell that they had eaten them, for they just looked as bad as before. I awoke with a start, but immediately went back to sleep and had another dream. I saw 7 ears of grain, full and ripe, growing on a single stalk. Right behind them sprouted 7 thin, shriveled ears, scorched by the east wind. The 7 shriveled ears swallowed up the 7 healthy ears. I have shared my dreams with my magicians, but no one could give me an interpretation." Joseph interprets the dreams. Verse 25. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, "Both your dreams tell the same story, for God has prophetically told Pharaoh what he is about to do. Both the 7 healthy cows and the 7 healthy ears represent 7 good years. It's the same dream. The 7 ugly, scrawny cows that followed the 7 shriveled ears scorched by the east wind are 7 years also. They represent 7 years of famine. It is just as I have told Pharaoh. God had divinely revealed what he is about to do. There will come 7 years of great abundance throughout all the land of Egypt, followed by 7 years of intense famine. All of Egypt will forget the former abundance, for all the land will be ravaged by famine, a very severe famine. They will not even remember their former abundance. The reason that Pharaoh's dream was repeated is that God has determined that it will surely happen, and that he will soon carry it out. Joseph continued, "Let Pharaoh select a very wise and discerning man and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh appoint other officials throughout the land to collect 1/5 of all the crops each year during the 7 plentiful years. Have them gather all the food of these abundant years that are coming, and under Pharaoh's authority, have the grains stored in the cities for food. Store it all as food reserve for the people during the 7 years of famine coming upon Egypt, so that the land will survive the famine." Joseph promoted to power. Verse 37. Joseph's proposal pleased Pharaoh and all his advisors. He said to them, "Where can we find anyone else like this one? For he has the Spirit of God in him." So Pharaoh turned to Joseph and said, "Since God has divinely revealed this to you, there is no one as wise and full of insight as you. I hereby place you in charge of all my affairs, and all my people will obey your commands. Only I, the king, will be greater than you." "Listen to me, Joseph," Pharaoh continued. "I am placing you in charge of all of Egypt." Then he removed his signet ring, placed it on Joseph's finger, and had him clothed with fine linen robes. He adorned him with a gold collar around his neck. Pharaoh had him ride the chariot reserved for the second in command, and sent runners going before him, crying out, "Kneel!" In this way, Pharaoh had placed Joseph over all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh also said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh. No one in all Egypt will lift a finger without your permission." A new identity and a bride. Verse 45. Pharaoh gave Joseph a new name, Revealer of Secrets. He also arranged for him to marry the daughter of Potiphera, the priest of Heliopolis. Her name was Asenath, and Joseph took charge over all the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Leaving Pharaoh's presence, Joseph traveled throughout the entire land of Egypt. 7 years of abundance. Verse 47. During the 7 years of abundance, the land produced bumper crops. Joseph supervised the gathering up of all the great stores of food of the 7 years of abundance and strategically placed them in various walled cities near where the harvest was gathered. He gathered such massive quantities of produce that he gave up trying to measure it all, for it was like counting the sands on the seashore. Joseph's two sons, verse 50. Prior to the famine, Joseph and Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of Heliopolis, had two sons. Joseph named the firstborn Manasseh, saying, "God has made me forget all my troubles in my parental home." The second he named Ephraim, saying, "God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering." Eventually, Egypt's 7 years of abundance came to an end. Then began the 7 years of famine, just as Joseph prophesied. Although there was a severe famine everywhere, food was available throughout the land of Egypt. When the Egyptians grew hungry, the people cried out to Pharaoh for food. Then Pharaoh said to all his people, "Go to Joseph and do whatever he tells you." As the famine worsened over all the land, Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe everywhere. So, because of the severity of the worldwide famine, people from all over the world had come to buy grain from Joseph.